What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Beyond the 90. We've got a very special guest all the way from the US. With again a new creator for this site as well. But just love to have a conversation with you. We've got Jeff from Fox to Fox. First of all, Jeff, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm good. I mean, I'm missing the football at the moment, not gonna lie, because this weekend I was looking forward to the weekend game, but it didn't happen. But again, it gets the opportunity to catch up with people like yourself, which is great. So obviously, just tell people initially. Again, there's a link to, again, as you can see below, link to Twitter and Facebook and everything. I'll make sure to leave the links in the description. But what is your origin story about? Like, where are you based, and how did you end up supporting Leicester City?
So I'm based in the northeast of the United States, Connecticut. That's about 25 minutes away from New York City. And really, my origins for Leicester City comes back when I was, I think about 18, 19, back in 2015, 2016 season. So when Leicester won
Wow.
the Premier League. So I remember around this time, coming into the new year of 2016, you're hearing all about Jamie Vardy scoring these goals. And before then, I've been watching football my entire life. So I could say that I really did not have a team that I really said that I supported or really feel for them. You know, Around me, my friends and my community here, it's all about Manchester United, Barcelona, Real Madrid, all those
Mhm.
teams. But really, I never felt close enough until I saw Jamie Vardy and just the way he plays, asking for through balls, using his pace, kind of similar to what I or how I like to play football. So
Mhm.
once I saw him, I started watching more of him and just seeing Leicester City and like pretty much what they're all about. And on paper, compared to teams like Manchester United, the top teams in England, um, fairly they're not. You wouldn't say they're good on paper, but performance-wise, they're just excellent. So the way they were able to win the Premier League that season with all the odds against them, and just pretty much the way it is, like, if you work hard and dedicate to what the goal that you want to achieve, you'll achieve it. And that's what they did. So definitely a huge inspiration from Jamie Vardy and Leicester City to me. That I'm like, besides, let's forget they won the Premier League, but I like the way they play. I like how the passion, the fans, everything. I'm gonna support this team, and I can finally say, yeah, I'm supporting Leicester City. This is a team that I'm gonna support, forever. And um, some of my friends say, "Hey, man, are you bandwagon?" Like, no, I'm not a bandwagon. I'm sticking with them. And you know what? I could say that after we won the Premier League, we didn't have a fair amount of seasons after that. We had a great Champions League, I think, but coming into the year 2017, 2018 with Claudia Poole, we really didn't have a great. But you know what? I stuck with them. I see the growth from then till now, and it's just excellent. And
Yeah.
like I said before, I've never missed a match since then. Really, when I'm in class, when now back while I was in school, I wouldn't miss a match. Even when I'm playing football and the game's going on, I'll have it on my phone, just listening, and people will be like, "What's that noise?" Oh, sorry, I'm having the game on my phone. Just gotta keep up with Leicester. But yeah, no. Since then on there, I've just been focusing on Leicester, reading everything, articles, whatever happens. I'm always trying to update myself on what's going on.
No, that's amazing. Again, because I'm from Leicester, and knowing that kind of people, I'm just like, how do you guys do it? Because I'm from here, and I know people that are from this city, and just having the international reach is just unbelievable. And I think we were just speaking a little bit off camera. You've actually met with the new. You're saying you near the from Connecticut, but around the corner from the New York, and you've met the New York Fox as well. So it's probably nice to have that community there as well. Because as you were saying, there's not a lot Leicester fans out there at the moment.
Yeah, no. So when I went over to the Football Factory, which is the sports pub of where Leicester City, the New York Foxes watch their matches, I went over there, and yeah, I did see more than 10 Leicester City fans, and pretty much outside that community, there's none. So
Mhm.
when I go into that environment, I'm like, wow, there's actually more of us. So it was great. We all watch the games together, and it's like we're family. So we're all like talking with each other, rooting for Leicester. And yeah, that match when I went to go watch the game with them was against Chelsea. Our previous match with them at the King Power Stadium. We lost 3-0, but either way, it was a good time. Just getting to know more people that support Leicester, and yeah, just hopefully I'm gonna go to see more of them at the sports pub over there, and just watch Leicester and see what we do now with the remainder of the season coming up. But yeah, no, it was a good time.
No, that sounds really good. No, that sounds interesting. Again, that sounds great. So I'm glad you meet little fans because I've met with we've talked with so many fans where They just like alone, and I'm like, oh, I wish there was a community here, but you'd have to obviously come here to get the community. It's not quite the same, but again, I think the owners and that try and create that kind of community environment. But just kind of coming back to what you were saying as well, obviously you're supporting the 2015-16. In terms of the current, the former players that played for Leicester City like that season, who was you said Jamie Vardy as well, but is there any other like favourites from that season or past players that you really like to watch?
Definitely, I did have, of course, Riyad Mahrez. You can never,
Mm-hmm.
you can't say, you didn't like him. Good player, great player. There also was N'Golo Kante, but also Ben Chilwell. A player who just started coming out into the first team right after the season where they won the Premier League, and you definitely could see his development, and just the development of Leicester City players in their academy is just outstanding. We know how to develop players and just make them become big stars. So besides that, definitely seeing Ben Chilwell, but also Damari Gray. That's a player where sadly it didn't work out for him in this club and he had to move on. Of course, that is understandable, but I definitely was a big fan of Damari Gray, just his technicality, skills. He was very skillful and definitely would appear in big matches and just outperform, but just that consistency with him just didn't keep up. But besides that, no, Jamie Vardy is my favorite player. And just from that 2015 season, he was just inspirational, using pace and not really a strong player, you could say, compared to body-wise. But he definitely had that speed and just outran everybody. And just, he's a history maker in this league and forever will be.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Definitely he is getting older, so he is slowing down. But of course, even now, he's performing very well for his age.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just unbelievable the amount of goals he scored when he's past that. And you think when he's if he was joined the league in 27, what he could have done if he joined at the beginning. I think I don't know how you feel about I still think he's quite underrated as a striker, because every time I speak to a Liverpool fan, a Man United, a top 6 fan, they always mention, oh, Vardy has a good game against us. And that kind of shows you of how, like, a lot of people said that about Aguero when Aguero used to play for Man City. But Jamie Vardy is, honestly, I still think he's underrated. But people against Watford, oh, they've always got Jamie Vardy. So it's always that little thorn in everybody's side.
Yeah, no, definitely. Vardy likes to play against the big 6, and he always just appears there and is on the score sheet, especially with Liverpool, Arsenal, and Manchester United. So it's very crazy, especially during this season where he scored that goal, like I think 9 seconds after Rashford's goal in that 4-2 victory.
Yeah,
that was just
it was brilliant. We had shout out to I don't know if you know about Mad About Foxes. He was actually at the game as well from he's from Florida as well, actually. So he actually it was his first ever game and experience. It was so nice to meet him. But yeah, it was such a good experience, that one. That's one to hold on to for this season when we come back to review. But in terms of obviously moving on to the current, like you mentioned, obviously Ben Chilwell and Damari Gray. Is there anybody from this current squad that you really like? Because from what it sounds of it, there's lots of young, youthful players with a lot of potential that you like.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of their academy, and I definitely think that we are a club that we grow and develop our players to come onto the first team, and I think that's what really makes us different compared to the other clubs that are not the big 6. Like Norwich, Aston Villa, Newcastle, Everton. Those players receive loan players from the big 6, like Chelsea, like Gallagher's on Crystal Palace. So us, we don't. If you look and see, we don't really take players from the big 6 because we're a team that competes what they're competing for. So if anything, the way our system works is we have to get players that are going to compete here and stay here and just stay with Leicester City and achieve what they want to achieve. That is Champions League, European football, top 4. So yeah, no, I'm definitely all in for the academy. And I should say, James Justin coming in, he came from Luton Town, but very young and just very talented. And it's unfortunate that he had that injury last season, but the way he's developed in that squad, he came on the season that was 2019, 2020. So right when the pandemic hit, we had Ricardo Pereira, who was injured, so he had to step up. And just the way he developed from that time until it came to the 2021 season, he just improved so much and was really a candidate for, you would say, the English national team. So yeah, I'm very I like the young players and just academy, but also Kieran Dewsbury Hall, a player that you could say is just insane now. He's just improving and definitely one for the future. But no, also Madison, you can also complain about that. He's a great player. But yeah, no, definitely a lot of the new signings. And aside from that, Patson Daka, another forward of strike, pace, can definitely finish and is supposed to be the successor of Jamie Vardy. So we'll see what happens with him. But no, definitely stoked with what we have so far in the team.
Yeah, no, there's some really, really good players. Hopefully, once we get through this injury crisis, once Brendan can sort it out a little bit, we can go on something. But again, at the moment, we are in a really weird position. Again, hopefully, we can sort something out by the end of the season. But in terms of that, obviously, in terms of Leicester City, do you have like a singular, or is there any favorite moments or favorite matches that you remember watching? And you're like, okay, that was a good match right there to watch.
Uh, well, there was. I mean, there's a lot. There's always a lot with Leicester City, but the ones where I say the best moments will have to be the one against Sevilla in the Champions League, the
Hmm.
round of 16. You
Hmm.
know, we were losing 2-0 over in Sevilla, and then you have Vardy score that late goal that gives it a 2-1, so it gives it
Hmm.
that away goal advantage. And then we go into the King Power Stadium, and then it's pretty much all odds against us as well. Everyone thinks that Sevilla is going to beat us and eliminate us, but we have Wes Morgan just appear out of nowhere. And I think during that moment, Wes Morgan wasn't really having a great performance during that
Hmm.
time, and he just scored that goal and just pretty much just shut everyone up. And then we were pretty much winning on goal differentials, and then we had that goal by Mark Albrighton, a left shot
Hmm.
outside the box, totally unexpected but insane power. And then came that confrontation with Vardy and Nasri.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that was just a moment too. People said he kind of made Nasri get that red card, but it is what it is, and he got the red card. They were left with 10 men, and then that PK with Cassius Michael that really defined the moment City qualified. So it was like they make it, we go to extra time, but if not, we qualify into the next round. And yeah, it was just a very defining moment and just a great just sensation and feel. Us our first time in the Champions League, and we eliminate because like a team in Spain, Sevilla, that's fairly knows more about the Champions League and Europa League than we do. So
Hmm.
just being able to, Leicester City, a very small club compared to other people and what they see, how they see our club,
Hmm.
beat Sevilla. Those are the
Hmm.
moments that's pretty much what defines Leicester City.
Yeah,
Not the team that you're going to favor for, but can definitely outperform those big stars.
yeah, and it's great. Again, we can do it on our day at times. So you give it the perfect example, obviously, the Liverpool game where all the odds were stacked against us. You were saying, played Man City, we got abolished. Again, it was really impressive the 4-3 comeback, but then we end up losing. But obviously, it extends 6-3. But that match for me was probably, I don't know about you, but it was one of my favorite matches to watch just because of the heart and the guts and people like, as you were saying, Dewsbury Hull, who had an unbelievable game in that as well. That kind of, as you were saying, that mentality, the bigger than the sum of its parts mentality, where they went and beat them, and we rode our luck at times, but thoroughly deserved the win. I thought in that Liverpool game, and that's the reason why I kind of fell in love with football because of moments like that.
Yeah, no, definitely. We upset the big six. The media have to rewrite what they expected to write, which was probably Liverpool defeats Leicester City once again. But no, we beat them. Lookman, a player that I mentioned on my channel that I think we should sign because
Mm.
he literally gives all that he does, all the speed, the pace, the vision, just the creativity from him. So a very key player to our squad at the moment, and I think we shouldn't let that opportunity go. I think we should keep him. I think he fits well with our club. And a player like him that's been really bouncing off clubs, not really finding a home, just like Brendan Rodgers said, I think that Lookman needs to find a place where he feels secure. Like that, he'll be able to perform the way that we know he can perform. So by all means, we have to sign him in the summer.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of fans are saying that now. And one of the advantages I think is that we're playing him on that left hand side. We're playing in that false nine position, which I think he thrives in. On that right hand side, I just feel like his talents are wasted there. It just seems like when obviously if Harvey Barnes is injured, then we've got somebody on that left. I think we do need somebody on the right that can do the same thing as him, but is naturally right-footed, because we haven't been able to replace Mahrez since.
Right.
And I know that's kind of a cliche at that point, but I think we need that right winger just to secure that position, because but the thing is, the squad, kind of that, but the strength and depth is getting there slowly. But hopefully, again, we get that right winger that we know. We just need to get that right person, and we can trust the squad to trust the owners to get the right person as well.
Yeah, definitely have to see what comes for that position. But at the moment, we'll have to manage what we have. We definitely do have upcoming players from your academy, like Will Alves, that we did see against Watford. And you could just see the first touch he made was just, doing what he likes to do, was just like do tricks and all that sort. But definitely a young player, but definitely will develop to be a great player. And we did see, I don't know if you saw, but Brendan Rodgers did tell him on the sides, like, less touches or you're off. So, that definitely does, besides him and Casey McAteer and Lewis Brunt, those players performing against Watford and just exceptionally, it's just already gives you a message that, there's a bright future in this team.
Yeah, no, there is, and there's a lot of, again, potential young talent that's hopefully under this manager who's going to develop a lot more as well. Is there any? Speaking of that, what obviously, if you like potential stuff, what have you thought in terms of Brendan Rodgers and the way he's brought up people like Harvey Barnes and Ben Chilwell? I think he did take Ben Chilwell's career to the next level. What are your thoughts on Rodgers in general as the manager at the moment?
I think he has great vision. He knows when to bring these players up. And there really hasn't been a player that he's brought in up from the academy that hasn't done well at all. I think each player that he's brought in has performed exceptional. So yeah, it's just all in what he sees, and clearly he sees more than others, and he does a very good job. And like he said in the match against Watford at the end, if this was his last match, he would be very pleased, because basically what we saw with those three academy players, including Vontae Deli Campbell, he did a great job in like working with the development side, the coaches over there, and just working a way to get them up to the first team and perform in matches like these.
Yeah. So again, hopefully that gives them the strength to go and push on to the next level, because again, with the squad, we don't know how injured these players are going to be. But we will have to see. You mentioned before as well that you obviously the time zone is further back as well. But say they kick off again, they've not done this in ages. But what's the craziest time that you've had to get up to or to watch a Leicester City match? Because luckily, people from Leicester complain about a 12:30 kickoff and getting down to the stadium. For you, that must be insanely early in the morning.
Yes. So the earliest is 7:30 in the morning for us. So that's not too bad. If I was living in the West Coast in California around there, it would be 3 hours before me. So it would be 7:30, 6:30, 4:30. Yeah, 4:30. So luckily I'm not in that area. But no, I think that the match against Chelsea was at 7:30. So I left here to go to the city at around 6 o'clock with the traffic and all sorts. So I pretty much got out of my house from 6 o'clock and then try to make it in time at 7:30. But no, it's no problem at all, really.
Jeez, I still think it's mental, because again, the weekends and things like that as well. People have lives, and it just and especially when if they lose first thing in the morning, you're like, oh, my weekends is kind of, it takes you a while to get over it, especially when you have that. But at the same time, when you win, it kind of changes your weekend. But one thing as well is that, would you ever plan on visiting the King Power or coming to the Leicester eventually to see a match in person?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. That's actually my goal for this year.
Oh, nice.
So once everything all eases up with the pandemic, definitely I'm gonna book my next flight over to the UK and to Leicester. That's my first game.
Sounds good. Sounds good. No, we'll love to have you over here. We'll hopefully have a meeting with some of the people from here as well, people from Beyond the 90. We'll manage to sort something out there, because that'd be great to see you hopefully this year. But with COVID, it's wrecked everything in terms of seeing people, and yeah, it is what it is. So hopefully, things will calm down a little bit there. But I was going to say as well, what makes kind of Leicester City special to you as kind of like, or what made you said Jamie Vardy a little bit as well, but you said the community and a little bit about that as well, because I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, so just a community that supports this team, even though, like I said, in the eyes of others, we are seen as a very small club that won't finish top four or won't even get into European competition. But just like the compassion that we have for this club, we should say, almost like a club that's started from the bottom and will always be that traditional supporters club. No matter, we're not like Manchester United, Tottenham, Chelsea that live off, these top signings, and just really, we're all for the fans. And that comes from the owner here in Leicester City as well. You could see that desire from him, and just that excitement when we won the FA Cup. He came down into the field, held that trophy. It was a huge achievement and a lot of emotion there, and just this is all for the fans and as well as for the players. And also, the fact that we are an underdogs kind of team. So, we're not expected to win, but when we do, it feels great. So that the feeling there is just like I said, I like it. And forever we'll be supporting Leicester.
That's awesome. No, great. Again, it's just amazing to hear that somebody from not from here, and it's still surprising to this day that I find people like yourselves. But one thing as well is obviously we've got the transfer window open at the moment. What do you think we need, or what would be your transfer that you'd like if you had your choice of like, right, I could pick anybody? Who would you like to transfer into Leicester City at the moment?
Well, fairly. I mean, let's see. I did hear about Cantwell coming over to Leicester. There was some sort of link there.
I think it's every year now.
Yeah, pretty much. He does fairly play on the left and right wing. I mean, maybe you can try him out on the right, but at the moment we need defenders. That's the one top priority that we need. I did hear about Calvin Ramsey that plays in the Scottish Premiership, 18 years old. Definitely, I did see some highlights from there, and he pretty much had similar attributes to Ricardo Pereira and Castagna, a player that likes to be part of the attack, likes to start from the back and run his way up. But as far as center backs, really, it's just I do not know who we can bring on. We're hearing about Tarkowski, who apparently is linked to Leicester. I don't even think he's going to be
every year as well.
Yeah, and just Burnley right now, they're in last place after the win with Norwich today. So it's really, I had to see what other options there are, but I think we're looking more so towards the summertime to make these transfers. But it's always, you never know what happens last minute. Definitely will be watching the TV for deadline day for signings. So we'll see what happens then. But at the moment, it just looks to be all speculation.
Yeah, and again, Leicester don't really do a lot of business in the summer, in the winter. It tends to be more in the summer. But in terms of what who would you like to bring in? As in, like, as in terms of the Premier League, obviously your knowledge, for you can tell, you've got a lot of knowledge about that. But if you could pick one player to put into that Leicester team to then have hopefully a good rest of the year, or a couple of players, who would you pick?
Let's see. So, that's quite. It's very interesting. So, if I had a center back, I mean, Tyrone Mings. Definitely, I'm a big fan of Tyrone Mings because he's, he's tall, he's quick, and he's in the England squad. So, and especially the way he played against us last time out over at Villa Park. If we need someone who's tall, we need someone who's strong, we need someone who's quick, and at the moment we have Vestergaard, and that's that's not really doing too much for us. You could tell the way he runs and sprints is just slow strides. So
yeah. It takes him a while. The momentum is definitely not on his side for that one. Definitely. Yeah, that makes sense. Apart from that, again, thank you for joining us. But where can the people find you? I know I've had the ticker going the entire time, but again, let people know where you can find them, and there will be links to everything below.
Yeah, so on Instagram, Fox to Fox Report, and on YouTube, just you can put Fox to Fox Report and then Leicester after, and you'll find me on the first page there. But yeah, no, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, and on Twitter.
Brilliant. No. So again, Jeff, it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you for joining. It's been great. Hopefully we'll have you more on the show if you want to join as well. I'll be really, really happy to have you on. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Again, find all Fox to Fox stuff below. We'll see everybody in the next video. So goodbye.